This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com. And the Canadian Olympic Committee has just put out a statement that is backed by their Athletes Commission, national sports organizations, and the government of Canada. They have made the decision not to send any teams to the Olympic or Paralympic Games over in Japan that are supposed to be taking place this summer. They are calling for the Olympic Committee and the World Health Organization to postpone the games for one full year. They say this is not solely about their athletes' health, it's about their public's health and the risks of their athletes continuing to train in this situation. So I actually have a feeling they will end up postponing the Olympics for a year, like Canada is asking, if enough countries pull out and this, whatever you want to call it, continues on. I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff on this. If you're not a smoker, if you don't have pre-existing diseases, you're likely just going to go through it like you would a cold. If you're older or you have respiratory conditions, it's going to be more serious for you. But you look at places like Italy, where it's actually killed a lot of people. There's a lot of families living together, like multi-generations. So I can see how it's been brutal there for particularly the older people, because you have a lot of young people living with older people. But here, a lot of the older people, for instance, live in retirement homes. So that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear about that. The War Games match beyond AEW match has also been postponed. The AEW Las Vegas pay-per-view, according to Dave Meltzer, he says he wouldn't bet on it happening. Some fans sent me this retarded social distancing match that Joey Janela from AEW had. I already have very little respect for that guy for numerous reasons, and him bitching out when Enzo tried to fight him at that Blink 182 concert last summer. But they did like a social distancing match where they're taking bumps from like 6 feet away from each other. Just makes wrestling look stupid. It'll entertain their own fans, but to like regular people, it does not make regular people want to watch wrestling. They'll just look at it, say, oh my God, this is stupid. What a stupid sport, and continue not watching. That's why we have less and less fans every year for wrestling. Someone asked me on my news update yesterday about Braun Strowman's comments about indie wrestlers. And I guess this was in response to, first of all, I'll just thank Roberto Bravo for the $1.99 tip. He says, oh, Canada. Thank you. I always appreciate the tips, especially during times like this where my regular job is shut down for at least 3 weeks. But someone asked me about this. I guess Evil Uno, who is from the Dark Order, everyone knows here I'm not a biggest Dark Order fan, but Evil Uno is actually from this area. He's wrestled for Great North Wrestling numerous times. Not a comedy wrestler, but he did pay his dues. And I actually did. It is the truth. I said, congratulations, you deserve it, when he got signed for AEW. And even though I'm not a fan of his, I do feel he does deserve a contract. He's been in the business a long time, worked his way up. And anyways, he said he helped plug some wrestlers' Patreons for independent wrestlers who have lost independent wrestling bookings. And I guess Braun Strowman went off on him. This is a quote from Braun Strowman. He said, here we go with more of somebody pay my bills stuff. If you can't afford to pay your bills, maybe you should change professions. That's why I quit strongman. I loved it, but I couldn't afford to live. So instead of making a GoFundMe or a Patreon, wanting someone else to take care of me, I went out and worked harder than I ever have in my life to get where I am. Well, just so you guys know, Braun Strowman, I actually looked it up. He was never actually on the independent scene. He was signed to a development contract right out of being a strongman, I guess. So he actually never paid any dues. I mean, I don't know what the minimum pay for the development contract is. When I was offered one, it was $750 a week. So that's a lot more than you get on the independent scene, sometimes getting nothing. When I started in Stampede, I was paid $5 on numerous occasions. Sometimes I would drive like 6 hours, set up a ring, take down a ring, drive back in a snowstorm, make $20. So for him to make comments like this as someone that never paid any dues, he's just blessed that he's a huge guy. But we know he's not a tough guy, don't we? Because remember in Royal Rumble a few years ago, he stiffed Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar gave him a few legit punches and he just took it like a pussy. So I lost all respect from them. But like with wrestling being canceled, a lot of independent wrestlers are hurting for money. So to tell them to go find another job when, let's face it, right now, pretty much all the other jobs other than grocery stores and medical related jobs are shut down, that's just being an asshole. This Braun Strowman guy is just a piece of shit. He's a shitty wrestler. The Tyson Fury match I saw was one of the most embarrassing displays I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Also, Benoit's documentary is blocked in Canada. Some people were nice enough to send me some pirated links. I asked for them. I saw the part one. It's very biased, really biased towards Benoit. Of course, the people they have talking on it are Benoit's friends. He's under a gag order. He cannot. I'm having connection issues. I'm sorry about this. But Kevin Sullivan is under a gag order, a court gag order. He cannot talk about the Benoit situation. So I don't know if that's why he wasn't used in the part one of the Vice thing, but it was very one-sided, definitely biased towards Benoit, and I didn't like it overall. So that's my opinion on the first one. AJRX, can I interview Sable? She lives in Canada too. I highly doubt Brock Lesnar is going to ever let me interview his wife. Brock Lesnar is a multi-millionaire, and I highly doubt Sable needs the payoff of a shoot interview. Do I have any info about WrestleMania? Sean Tarasuk says, while they're filming it this coming week, it's going to be taped, not live. We might be on martial law. Someone says, Jamie Eskew, hey, are you okay? How am I doing with the virus? As I said, my main issue is I don't like my freedom being taken away. I don't like my freedom being taken away at all. A lot of decisions are being made that are very rash, I believe. So that's my main problem. How am I dealing with it? Well, tonight's going to be my 7th run in a row. My legs, all the hair has been ripped off of my thighs. But despite that, like it's chafing me just to walk. My cardio is actually improving. It was already decent, but like the reason I can't stop my nightly runs now is because I need to get the hell out of my house. Super chats are the coolest. Desmond Castro says, well, I thank you all for joining me on these. I appreciate it. Roman Reigns did not do any indie wrestling either. Richard M says no. And those guys would have been weeded out in the old days. I'm sorry, but as someone that's been on the indies, and even though I hate today's product, I truly love and am passionate about pro wrestling. I hate people like Braun Strowman that have just had everything given to them and think they paid their dues because at one point they were only making $750 a week to train. Oh my God. When I was training in the hard dungeon, I was fucking bouncing for $60 a night and actually getting in real fights. And my training was a lot harder than what they go through in WWE. Guarantee you that. Colonel Quayle, so is Braun Strowman out of WWE? No, he's in WWE. I don't know who he's feuding with or anything about it now. Chad Thomas, do I own Great North Wrestling? Well, I am director of the parent company that owns it, but it's an incorporation that actually owns it. Things are pretty crazy in Southern California. Miguel Alamagur says, well, you know what? I was supposed to be in Arizona tomorrow and in Southern California later in the week. So it sucks all this is happening. It's still in the minus zeros here. I was supposed to be having an interview trip, getting lots of footage, but I'm stuck here when I'm supposed to be on trips the next 3 weeks. So that really sucks. And I'm still dealing with the airlines too, to try and get at least credits on all my flights. Do I think Lance will open his studio? If you're thinking about Lance Storm, he's working for WWE now. Ralph Vaquero says it's a nightmare in Nevada too. Well, yeah, they canceled the Cauliflower Alley Club for April. I was supposed to go there. They're saying it's for September, but I'm not going to go ahead and rebook my flight because I don't think this is going to be over anytime soon. I just hope that, like, they said they're closing down the gyms for 3 weeks here. This is 1 week today. I had my last weight workout last Sunday night. So I'm going to hope that they at least open the gyms in 3 weeks. If you're one of the people with illnesses, stay isolated. If you're a senior citizen, stay isolated. But don't put those restrictions on me. Let me fucking have my freedom. That's my opinion of it.